and welcome back, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. My name is Sam and today's video is going to be a possessive protective romance heroes. I feel like I haven't done a strictly romance book recommendation video in quite a while. I've been trying to diversify the genres that I am recommending to you, and it's just, like I said, it's been a while. I used to do multiple romance book recommendations a week, and I've kind of slowly, it's gotten less and less. But let me know if you all like when I do my recommendation videos. Do you want to just see romance, or do you like having thrillers thrown in there? Do you like having possibly a historical fiction thrown in? Let me know, but I'm gonna stop rambling and just get into the books. We have 6 books that I want to share with you. It's technically 7 because one of them is a duet. So the first book that I'm going to talk about is Insatiable by Leigh Rivers. This is book 1 in her, I believe it's called the Edge of Darkness trilogy. And listen, I've seen this book everywhere. I've been seeing Leigh Rivers pop up everywhere. So I'm probably the last person to read this book. But in case one of you has not read it, here I am recommending it to you. This is a dark romance, okay? It's dark, and we are following Cade and Stacy. Now, this book does have some flashbacks to when Cade and Stacy are young, and then you kind of get a few more of Cade as the book goes on. So they meet when they are 15. They have such chemistry and such attraction to each other and this connection right away, and they sort of jump into a relationship, and that leads them to falling in love at 18. But then something happens and Cade hates Stacy now. So then we get present day, where Stacy is, she's over at his house because she's friends with Cade's sister or half-sister, I don't remember exactly. And Cade is very mean to her, very rude to her. He does things to provoke her. But we learn that since their breakup, Cade has just really not been himself. He went down a very dark path, and he fell in with the wrong people, and he owes these people sort of a debt. And he has had to do some very, very bad things, and he's traumatized from it. And Stacy is kind of weaseling her way back into his heart, and he doesn't like it. He doesn't like it because he doesn't trust her, but then he also doesn't want his life touching her. This life that he lives now, he doesn't want it touching her. But he also doesn't want her with anyone else, and makes sure that she's not with anyone else. So he takes possessive, protective to a whole new level, and I loved it. The next book that I'm going to recommend, I have recommended it before, but I just love it so much, and it fits this trope so perfectly, and that is Empire of Temptation by Mila Finelli. This is book 1 in her New York State of Mafia series, and we are following Valentina and Luca. Now, Valentina is struggling to keep her family-owned Italian restaurant afloat. And it's a shit show, okay? Stuff is it's breaking left and right. Her employees are quitting left and right, or just not showing up. She does have some really good, loyal people there with her, but it's a mess. There's drama, and all of this just seems to be happening on the night that Luca is in her restaurant. And now Luca is there for reasons which you will find out, but he sees Valentina and he sees her struggling, and she's a little sassy with him. She doesn't really want to take his crap, but she's also I can tell that you are this successful, big, dangerous man. Like, he's just got this presence about him. But you know, that doesn't stop her. And Luca kind of comes in and takes charge. He's like, no one is helping you, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to be the man that you need. I'm going to be the person that you need and someone to just help you. And I really loved Luca. He was very protective, which obviously is the point of this video. I don't need to say that, but he was. And this spicy goodness, again, this is a book that it will suck you right in and you can read it in one sitting. Okay, next up we have When She Loves by Gabrielle Sands. This is, I think, book 4 in the Fallen series. It's a mafia romance series, and we are following Raphael or Rafe and Cleo. So we do get a little bit of their story, like the introduction to their story, in a different book, because Rafe was actually supposed to marry Cleo's sister, but things happened and she can no longer marry him. So Cleo is presented as the next option. And honestly, he's not too mad about it because he didn't really want Cleo's sister. He wanted Cleo. He's secretly been like obsessed with her for a little bit and pining over her for a little bit. So he's like, heck yeah. But that's not really seen as a good thing from his family, because Cleo is very rebellious and is just seen as just not the, you know, traditional mafia wife. So his family gives him a little bit of grief about that, but he doesn't care. And Cleo herself is not making the relationship easy at all on him. She's like, I never wanted to be tied down, but here I am, and now I'm tied down and I'm married to you. And you know what? I'm gonna give you just a little bit of hell, just a little bit, because that's just who she is. And we loved her for it, okay? We really did. This one does have a my wife moment in there, and it was really good, really good. The next book that I'm going to recommend to you is His Tesoro by Emilia Rossi. In this book, we are following Sophia and Matteo. This is another mafia romance, an arranged marriage romance, because Sophia and Matteo, their families are wanting an alliance. And so what do mafia families do? They marry each other to prove like, yep, we're good, like peace, so to speak. And Sophia is Russian, and her dad has been very, very cruel to her. He is the head of the Russian mafia, because Sophia has a chronic illness disability, and some days it's very hard for her to walk. She has to use a wheelchair or I forget what it's called. It's not a walker, but it's got like the seat and she can push it around. But then like other days, it's really even hard for her to get out of bed. And her father never wanted her to be seen in public. He was very ashamed of her. And so she gets to Matteo, and Matteo sees just how good of a person she is and how just sweet and innocent she is. And she starts to come out of her shell and open up to his men and Matteo's sister. And at first he cannot stand that, because Matteo, he was against the marriage. He not necessarily against it. He wanted the alliance, but he didn't want the baggage that comes with being married, being tied down. He saw it as a weakness. He didn't want it, but he was forced into it. So he has been very cold, very standoffish to Sophia. And he, like I said, starts to see who she is as a person. And she starts laughing and smiling and, you know, talking, being friendly to his men who have become her friends. And he cannot stand it. He cannot stand it that she's looking at someone else, laughing at someone else, smiling at someone else. He can't take it. But the way that this man gives her everything that she needs, he's like, I'm going to get you a new wheelchair. I'm going to, you know, do all of these things to the house. We're going to get you proper care and medication because her father would never allow her to get that. And he gives her what she needs, but he also gives her freedom and to know her body and know her own limits. And it was just beautiful. And again, this man was head over heels for his woman. Not at first, but he gets there and he falls hard. So now I'm going to switch it up on you guys because we're going to talk about a fantasy romance, and that is Quicksilver by Callie Hart. Kingfisher, let me tell you, Kingfisher is possessive and protective. Okay, so in this book, we are following Cyrus and Kingfisher. So Cyrus is running from these soldiers because she has stolen something that is very valuable. And, well, I believe her brother stole it and she's trying to save her brother. So she takes the blame for it. She gets arrested. She's in a cell. And then all of a sudden she sees a man come up from the floor. And she's like, what the hell is going on? And it's Kingfisher. And he takes her back to the Fae realm. And things go from there. I don't want to give too much away in a fantasy romance because I think you just need to experience it. But this does have the fated mates aspect to it. And I feel like any fated mates story, the males are usually, you know, very protective and very possessive. Like Kingfisher gets upset that people can like smell her scent. He's like, she's mine. I should be the only one smelling her. It's a whole thing, and this is just such a fun fantasy romance. So if you are looking for the protective, possessive in a fantasy and you haven't read Quicksilver, you should pick it up. Okay, and then lastly, I'm going to end on the duet that I was talking about, and that is Sinners Condemned and Sinners Consumed by Somme Sketcher. Now, I've previously read one book by her. It's actually the first one in this series, and I didn't love it, but I'm so glad that I picked these up and that I gave her a second chance because I really, really enjoyed this duet so much. So we are following another Rafe and Penny. Now, she's a bit of a badass heroine. She has been on her own since her parents died when she was younger, and she's like just been in survival mode and doing whatever it takes to survive. And that has led her into conning rich men out of money. It's, you know, she goes and gambles and she can count cards and she can pickpocket and, you know, just take things off your person and you would be none the wiser. And so this leads her to Rafe, and she ends up she's successful in conning him out of a very, very expensive watch. And from the get-go, these two are very intrigued by each other. And Penny is like, I'm so attracted to you, but she's also like, I know that you're dangerous. And she's just a little bit scared of him, like just a little bit. And then one thing leads to another, and Rafe ends up hiring her at one of his casinos. She takes a bartending job, but then it's very clear, like, hey, she doesn't know what she's doing. So then he puts her in a different position and their relationship kind of goes from there. I loved their chemistry. Let me tell you, you will have blue balls during book one, okay? Because if I'm remembering correctly, I don't think they have sex in book one, but like it's horny. It's so horny. And it's still like a sexy book too, though. Like, don't let that throw you off because it's like angsty and, like I said, blue balls. And the way that Rafe is like protective of her, but also like kind of mad about it. Perfection. Their banter, so freaking good. And like chemistry, off the charts. So yeah, those are all of the protective and possessive heroes that I'm going to share with you today. If you have made it, actually, before I say that, if you have any recommendations, like give me your favorite ultimate possessive protective hero, but please don't recommend me Haunting Adeline, because I've read that and I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I know. So give me something other than Haunting and Hunting Adeline, please. Thank you. So yeah, but if you've made it to this point in the video and you'd like to let me know, leave me a skull in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.